Hello, I'm Sister Kathleen, and last week I spoke a bit about something that we can all do to try to help our polarization, the divides in our country and our society, particularly over politics, but over other things as well. And that's by trying to speak respectfully of policies, ideas, plans, people that we disapprove of, maybe very strongly. And that's not always easy. And one of the things that makes it more difficult is when we feel passionately about something. We're strong in our convictions, which has some good sides to it. But today what I'd like to do is use that as a little bit of a springboard to another spiritual topic. Now, I realize there are some people who are not quite so passionate about their political points of views. So if you happen to be one of those people, you might want to think of something else that gets your energy and your emotions and your passions up, which could be a problem in your family. It could be something going on in your own situation. And but politics can be the easiest, especially because it's about something distant, general, for most of us. So here's a thought experiment. If we can imagine how strongly and passionately we feel when we see things going wrong, when we see things going in a wrong direction or about to go in a wrong direction, and that gets us energized and it gets our feelings strong. Well, imagine, here's the thought experiment, imagine having that much passion and that much energy for what is good, for God. Just imagine if that kind of strength of conviction, of love were present in our relationship with God and our dealings with the world. We're being energized out of that. Oh, sounds great, right? How do you get there? Well, we can't do that ourselves. It's a matter of grace. We can't just decide, I'm going to be passionate about God. Yeah, right. It's not going to happen, except by grace. However, we can desire it. We can see that that would be a wonderful thing to have, and we can open ourselves to that grace. And it can be life-changing. I want to share with you something that happened in my own life many years ago. I was in my early 20s, I think, I'm sure. And I remember being all caught up in what was going on in the world and how unhappy I was about the direction things were going in or about to go in. And I just had this thought, oh God, if only I could love you as much as I hate all this bad stuff that's going on. And that prayer was a grace, and it came spontaneously, and it was quite deep. And it was based on something quite true, really, which is that ultimately the good that we can do in the world is based less on how much we hate evil and how much more truly, on how much we love the good. Not only because love ultimately is stronger than hate, but also because when we love the good, we're loving what's true. And that has a strength. We know that's the answer, is to be able to love the good every bit as passionately. And there I don't mean, I love what I think is going to be good for our country, because that's not just loving the good. That's also loving my opinions and my thinking and so forth. But to love what's good, if it's true, comes without demonizing anyone. It comes without fear. It comes without anxiety. It comes without anger. And it can operate on a really deep level. Well, a few years after I made that prayer, I had the grace of a huge life-changing experience of the love of God, by which I don't mean only or even principally of God's love for me, but God giving me the experience and the grace, which is the Holy Spirit, to love Him in a far deeper, more wonderful, more joyful way than anything I had ever experienced in my life. And I saw it, among other things, as in part an answer to that earlier prayer that I could love God more than I hated evil. And that was life-changing for me, quite literally, actually. It drove me into the monastery because I realized this is what God is calling me to do, is to love Him with all my being. Not everybody's called to do that, but we are all called to love God. And we can prepare ourselves for that by desiring it, by recognizing the truth and goodness of that. Anytime we feel some of those passions that are about the things that disturb us, just to imagine, what if this kind of energy could be directed toward what's good, towards what's beautiful, toward what is true, towards God.